Hello and welcome to another practical video tutorial. And in this tutorial we are going to talk about BlackArch Linux again. If you have seen our video about the installing of BlackArch, that's okay. If you haven't saw it, just go and check out our video about the installing of BlackArch using virtual machines. So in this situation we already have it installed and we have our virtual machine booted up, and this is the default screen that we are going to look at. So first of all, the first thing we will need to do when we have BlackArch installed is to install a file browser. So the first thing you need to do is right click and go to terminals. Open a terminal. Basically it's up to you which color you would like to have. And the command here would be first of all su, so that you can become root. And now with the root account, just type pacman -s tunar. This is a file browser and it's telling me the information about the installation, the size of it, and just hit Y and enter. It's going to take some time and it's going to download it from the internet, from the BlackArch repository, and it's going to install it. Okay, I can see some errors, so probably the first thing we'll have to do in this situation will be just type pacman -sy to synchronize the database from the repositories, and then we will be able to install it using the command for installation. So give it a few seconds just to update the database. We did that in the previous video, but we did it on the live CD and we installed some packets after that. But after the installation, we didn't done it on the actual installed machine, so that's why we had to do it again. Okay, this time it went perfectly well. So if I type tuna, it should open a file explorer window. As you can see here, I have all the files. Here I have the disks actually, which is the file system disk. This is my root file system. This is the boot disk, which we use for group. And there is some networking and things like that. So the next thing we'll need to do is we will need to install the extension pack for the virtual machine, depending on what virtualization you're using. It could be VMware extension pack, it could be VirtualBox uh, guest editions. These are actually tools from the virtualization software provider, basically from VMware or from Oracle if it is in the case of VirtualBox. Those tools are for you to enable some functionality on the virtual machine. Those tools will allow you to have, for example, clipboard, bidirectional clipboard. Basically, you'll be able to copy things from the virtual machine into your host and from your host into the virtual machine. Those tools will allow you to also um, share folders between the two machines. Everything like that will be actually based and thanks to those tools. So there are several different ways to install the VirtualBox guest editions. One of these ways would be using the provided guest editions by VirtualBox. If you're installing, for example, a Windows machine, you go to the menu on the VirtualBox devices. You can see it here on the top, and then from devices, the last option there, the last one would be installed VirtualBox guest editions CD image. Basically what it does, it's emulating a CD on your machine, on your virtual machine, and it's emulating a disk image with the additions into that CD-ROM. But there is another way. For example, what we can use here would be Pacman package manager, which is the package manager for Arch and for BlackArch Linux. And the command that we are going to type here would be very simple and should work. Well, the command is pacman -s virtualbox dash guest utils. That should be pretty much it. It did found the package. It is 12 megabytes. I just say yes. It's going to take some time to install it. And it's all done. Now, to have it working and to have those additions loaded into your kernel, The thing that I would suggest is to reboot the machine. So I just type reboot, hit enter, and it's going to go through the reboot cycle. And hopefully this will also give us a chance to have a better screen resolution. Okay. I need to authenticate again. I did create a user tester with a password test, and now it loads the actual screen. So let me just resize it. The next thing we will need to do is change the screen resolution in order to make it more usable. So one of the ways to change the screen resolution in the Fluxbox would be using the xrender command. So let me just demonstrate how this command works for you. First of all, you should just try with xrender screen 0, which identifies the screen that you are running on or working with, and just use some resolution like 1024 by 768. Hit enter, and the resolution already changed. So let me just make that better visible for you. Let's just make it to something else. So for example, X render screen double dash screen 0 minus S. Okay, that would make it to an HD resolution. Um, oh yeah, I did an additional S before that. Okay, that would do it. Uh, okay, 9020. One second, let me see if we can get a list of the resolutions that are supported by xrender. I think there was that list. Here is how to use the xrender command, verbals, so on. Okay, let's try with xrender minus q for query and see all the possible options we have. So it says the screen 0 currently is running 1024. The maximum it could do is 8000 virtual connected primary, so on and so forth. And what you can do here is you can select one of these options and just go for it. And let me see what we're going to do would be, let's try with this X render screen 0 minus S for the resolution, and I'm going to try 1920 by 1200. And that's pretty much it. Let me just make the screen better for you to see it. Once you've changed the resolution, the next thing you will need to do is update the system and update all the packages on it. So um, Arch Linux and BlackArch in this case is using pacman. To use that command and use that package manager, you need to be running as root. So type su and just type the password you have for su, and you will be authenticated as a root user. So the command to update the packages would be pacman-sy. First of all, and it's going to check all the packages and try and see which one needs update. of course, you have to keep in mind that before you run this command, you have to run pacman-s to update the repository information you have on your local machine. As you can see, for me, this screen is completed, and I can see that most of the stuff is up to date. There were two failures, operation too slow and operation too slow. So let's leave it as it is. We don't need to update. That makes sense because our installation was actually using updated packets from the internet when we were doing that the last time, and that was pretty recent, so there are no new updates. Another thing you need to know when you are going to use BlackArch is how to access the menu. Now, if you right click anywhere on the screen, you have a pop-up menu, which is the actual BlackArch menu. Now, you have terminals, and of course, you can go with any terminal you like here. And then, of course, the next thing you have is browsers, Firefox and Chrome, and you can click on any of these. It's going to load the browser, and you will have a browser screen open. Close that one. And then we have network. We have some network configuration utilities here. So let's just use the WICD GTK, which is a actually graphic user interface here. So you have networks, and you can create an ad hoc network, find a hidden network. This is pretty much about wireless network for here, for find a hidden network, or for get network settings. We have a wired default connection, and this is already set up here. We can go to properties, and everything here is automatically assigned, so we don't need to make any changes to this one. You can refresh the connections. You can add a new connection here. You can call it a different profile and add it here if you like to. You of course have disconnect all. This will drop all connections. You can switch off the Wi-Fi if you have any Wi-Fi connected. I haven't connected the Wi-Fi. And then to go to preferences, you have a menu with several options here. We can see that the interface we're using, name of the interface is EMP0S3, which is following the recent naming convention of the network adapters and interfaces in Linux. And then we have a wireless interface. If we had one, it would be here, but we don't have one connected for now. And then you get to set up if you want to DNS servers for that connection. Some additional setup here, and everything you like. So if you want to set a IP address by default or set up a IP address manually, you have to go to properties, and then you have to click use on static IP address, and then you set up the IP address that you have, like for example 192.168.1.5. Provided with a mask, the default one will be /24, as you can see here, and then the gateway, it is detecting that on that network with that mask, usually the gateway is .1, which really pretty much is the case. And then you can set up DNS servers. You can use other information. You can authenticate with passwords on that network if you have anything like that, and that's pretty much it. And I'll just click cancel because I don't want to mess up. Of course, if I want to, I can disconnect from here, and I can delete the network adapter directly from here. What we have here basically is the information underneath. It says that we're connected to a wired network, and the IP address that we have on here is .1.14. And of course, we can, if config, we can easily confirm that just typing ifconfig, and we have the same IP address here. That's the adapter. And again, the adapter is EMP0S3. And that's the loopback interface. It's not present here, and we don't really use it at the moment. So that's pretty much what you have as information and what you can do about the networking. So I'm just going to click on quit and just going to close this window. The other thing I'm going to show you would be on a BlackArch menu, actually what are the tools that you have, and you can see them all here. And I'll give you some information on how to actually view all the BlackArch tools. There is a command for that. Let's just open a terminal window, and I'm going to show that to you just a second. So first of all, before we begin with that, let's just do a pacman-s and install a tool used again for package management. That's Blackman. And you need to do that as a root. So pac man as blackman. It's pretty simple and very short. Now if you do blackman, and now we can do just, let's just hit enter and see what will be produced. Blackman is also a tool for managing packages in BlackArch, and you can use it to install from BlackArch repository here. For example, let's just do blackman minus p minus l, and it's listing all the BlackArch categories it has. So it has anti-forensic, you can see it has drone, DOS, honeypot. These are all the categories here. And if you want to install a specific category, you just use the command blackman minus p. Let's just say BlackArch proxy. This is a list of the tools that are in that category, and you see all the proxy tools and everything. Of course, if you want to, what you can do is to install all of the tools. They're already installed, but in this situation, I'm just going to show you and demonstrate this command would be -a, and it's going to do all the tools, or all the tools will be installed. But to do that, you shouldn't be root. You should be doing that with a sudo command. Sorry, sudo command. So, for example, sudo blackman -a, and then type the password. And this user is not a sudoer, so let me just show you how to add your user to the sudo group. So the simplest way to add the user to the sudo group would be just to use user mode -a-g. Sudo would be the group, and then the username, which is in my case tester. If you don't have it, you first of all have to install it. Let's do that. And now let's try the same command here. Sudo blackman -a. The way to add a sudoer into the BlackArch system would be to actually do it through editing a file. But first of all, let's see what are the sudo -l results here, what we have here. Run so, command so, user root may run. So let me just edit the etc sudoers, and let's just find a place to add our user here. Let's add it here. So just use tester o equals o again o. That should be it. And let's just see if we can do blackman -a. And now we are able to run the blackman command with the user. So what if we use it like this, blackman -a? So it doesn't need any specific permissions, even doesn't want you to run it as a sudo, so keep that in mind. Just run it blackman -a like this, and it's going to start installing all the packages and all the tools. That's strange. I thought it would need some, at least not root, but sudo or something like that. So in any case, we learned how to set up the screen. We learned how the network is configured on this machine. We learned how to add the user to the sudoers. and now how to install all the tools we have available from the BlackArch repository on the using the Blackman tool. Let's just leave it work, and I will be back to you when it's done. Okay, and the next thing I'm going to show you is how to install a different desktop environment. Now the BlackArch comes with a Flux, but I would suggest if you want to use something else, then that you can go with XFCE, which is really quick, really lightweight. It's really easy to install. So the command, first of all, would be you need to go to root, become a root using su, and then the command is pacman-s xfce4. This is the information that's asking you, and it's giving you all the necessary package. Just hit enter for all of them, the default one. We have some already installed, and then I just hit yes, and it's just going to go through all of them. It's going to reinstall them in any case, and that's pretty much the installation is going, and it's done. So as you can see here, it is completed, and we are done. Now the other thing we need to do is type pacman-s BlackArch menus. Install that, and then warning given when extracting install write failed. We are out of space, but it looks like it actually done the job. So the next thing would be pacman-s blackmate. Install that. That's done. And now just type blackmate. Okay, just hit yes to install the engine, or just type 1, sorry. And once this setup is done, we are going to reboot the machine. The Blackmate is basically a generator for the tools that BlackArch has, but for XVC4. So this is the script that's fetching the latest tools and generates a new entry on the BlackArch menu. So just give it some time. Actually, I'll stop the video here and I'll come back to you when this is actually done. Alright, it's actually done. Okay, now then let's just reboot the machine. Okay, we have a desktop environment here for XVC sessions, so just the one that we need. We choose this one. The user is tester, the password is test. Let's use the default config. And we are going to resize that one. Desktop settings. Oh, sorry, not desktop settings. I think it was probably it's in the menu somewhere. System. Okay. Should be in system. Okay, maybe I missed something. You can just give me a second to arrange. What if we go to no properties is not the one, then desktop settings. Um, do we have the size here? Okay, let me close this one. Open terminal here and just say X render size 9020 by 1200. Okay, now we have that. Let me see if we have that option in the desktop settings, not just background and stuff. So pretty much that is the actual XFCE or XFCE terminal window, or sorry, the XFCE desktop environment, as you can see here, and we can build that. This is again BlackArch running with that desktop environment. And if we go to the applications, moving to BlackArch, it's going to start. We can actually populate the BlackArch tools here with the blackmate command. So let me just show you how to do that. And settings manager. There we have display. Sorry, it was my fault. And this is the resolution that we actually choose. So you can choose the resolution from here, save it, apply it, whatever you like. So we need the terminal window to be able to do that. And let's just go and clone the latest blackmate script. So first of all, we used git clone. The location of it is on github.com anion 3 blackmate. Sorry, I did write it wrong. Blackmate. Now move to the blackmate folder that it created on your machine. Or you can actually move that one to move blackmate sh to user share blackmate. Yes, replace it. Need to do that as an administrator. Okay, so now let's just run the actual script user share blackmate and just sh blackmate sh. It needs permissions again, so do sudo. I hope you can read my screen well. This tool is supposed to copy the BlackArch tools and the list of those tools, make them available under XFCE. It's going to take some time. I'm going to pause the video here and I'll just come back to you when it's done. Okay, it's done, and it says that in order to correctly display the new menu, you need to restart the XFCE theme. So I'm going to go to log out and then select the restart button. Give it a few more seconds to boot the machine again. The default session now is XFCE, as you can see here. The user is tester, the password is test, the resolution is the proper one. And now let's see what we have here under the BlackArch menu. Other system. Now, in our case, when we go to the applications, for some reason it doesn't really show the applications, and I have a clue why. So let's just try here. Let's just try again and see what we can do. I think we need to not run it as root so that we will have that access to those applications, not only to the root account, but to the user account. So the thing is user share blackmate and then sh blackmate sh. Okay, then let's just run it with another option, which is using pacman. blackmate. There is also the option to run that and use pacman. So let's just use it this way. Yep. And now sudo blackmate again. Give it some time again and we'll see the results when it's done. I'll be right back. Okay, that's done. And again, in order to have it running and properly configured, we need to reload the XVC. And the best way to do that, of course, would be to restart. We can just log out and log in, but I'll just go with the restart and hopefully that will give us this menu. So give it a couple more seconds to load. Yes, we want that. The option here says XVC session. Okay, so the user is tester, the password is test. Going to change the resolution. And now if we go to applications, go to BlackArch, for some reason we still don't see the options here. So if we don't have it yet, let's see if we can log in with root and see if there will be any difference. The user will be root, and I'll use the password I have for root, and then see what we have here on the BlackArch. So there it is. The reason for that is that we were running the blackmail script with the root permissions, so it's creating that for the root user. And if you log in with the root again, which in most cases you will need to do because basically to run most of these tools here, you would need to be root to manipulate the network adapters, manipulate the disks and everything. So there it is, and as you can see here, there is the menu for the BlackArch. All the tools are listed here, and everything is available for you to use using SVC instead of the default option that BlackArch is suggesting for desktop environment. So I hope you liked the video and I hope you learned something new. Of course, apply these new skills you have and enjoy. And of course, subscribe for more videos and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you very much for watching and goodbye.